In a galaxy full of warp cores, Klingons, and questionable away missions, two brave red shirts dared to start a podcast. Meet Wade Marshall and Mike Terosian, boldly broadcasting from the edge of survival. Because let's face it, somebody's gonna die first. Whether it's classic Trek, new Trek, or Tribble's Gone Wild, they got opinions, phases, and a whole lot of red fabric.
This is Red Shirt Radio.
Grab your communicator, and maybe it will.
Welcome to the second episode of Red Shirt Radio. I'm Mike Terosian.
I'm Wade Marshall.
And today's episode will be the Captain's Showdown.
Mike, don't you think we should be doing this in the studio?
Make it so.
Well, here we are, HCAM Studios.
Yeah, these are much fancier than our last go-around at Cornell's.
Nice to be at the pub, but this is sweet.
I'll miss the sound of the blender in the background, but, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Got to do what you got to do. This is a great day to do it. So welcome, everyone, to our next episode of Red Shirt Radio. And the main topic tonight is the Great Captain Debate, where it's a showdown between the captains.
It's the age-old debate. It started out with who's better, Kirk versus Picard, for the longest time. That's everyone talked about. But we're going to also dive deeper into, Sisko, Janeway, Archer, Pike,
Burnham.
And
the big thing is we're going to discuss their strengths, their flaws, leadership styles, how they get along with the crew.
We went into we all had it. We both had our favorite captain going into this discussion, and what we did was we rated. We'll go over this scorecard a little bit later, but we rated them on certain areas of leadership qualities, and it was surprising for me, and I think it was for you as well, that who's my favorite captain did not come out on top when I rated everybody individually.
And that happened to me, and just for checks and balances, we gave one of these to Jim Cousins, and he came up with the same thing.
Same thing.
He's a Picard guy, and Picard was not his first.
Clearly, he's not a Sisko guy.
No, we don't like Sisko. But so let's talk about the highlights. Captain Kirk, bold, risk taker, instinct driven.
He was the original, right? So again, in Next Generation didn't come out until I was I think, a freshman in college, right? So that's my whole formative years are based on Kirk, right? So he was the original, and you can't replace the original. He's
never.
Against which all others are judged, especially in those first few years of the late 80s, early 90s when all the new episodes were coming out.
Sure. And Picard.
Yeah, he was the ever the diplomat. I think that probably is the best way to describe him. Very even-keeled, and really didn't let anything get to him. He was very focused, and just really a diplomat is probably the best way to describe him. And then, of course, Sisko.
Sisko, big difference, too. He's the soldier. He's the wartime commander. The original series, they weren't at war with the Klingons.
Right.
That was over.
Yeah.
So here he is. He is the wartime commander. We get a lot of stuff going on. He was his leadership skill was so cool.
Yeah, and what's interesting is this captain's list, right? He started off not as a captain, but as a commander. So,
in the series,
he started off as
correct.
But that was the first time we saw. Okay. Then I think the ratings they're trying to get the ratings better. Okay, let's give him a ship. Let's make him a captain.
Sure. So then next on the list will be Janeway.
Janeway, yeah. Again,
Catherine Janeway.
Survivalist, scientist,
mother figure.
Yeah,
mother figure for
she
sure.
was thrown at the deep end of the galaxy and had to figure everything out on her own.
Yeah, you know what? It sort of reminds me, it almost reminds me of like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
You're bringing these two families together, the Marquis and the Starfleet, and you had to make it work, and she basically told everyone, live with it, let's get along, and it wound up working.
Yeah, I think, again, and you look at the series, it takes some time to find their way, and
I don't think it would have ever happened if they weren't in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if they just had to survive something in the Alpha Quadrant, I don't think they would have got along at all.
No, I would have to agree on that point. And then Archer.
Oh, Archer, the pioneer. He's the boss. He's the builder of the foundations in the NX-1.
Yeah. Like I said, I thought it was interesting when they kind of rewrote it a little bit for the series because it was always Enterprise and Enterprise A, B, C, and then, then it was the NX-01, right? So that was, but he was the first, technically the first.
Well, right? he was the first in the first Starship captain. He was the guy. Everybody else may have been higher ranked, but nobody commanded.
He was
in command of a starship.
Yeah, and then of course now we have Pike.
We had Pike. We lost Pike.
And now we had Pike
again, and then we got him again. So here's Pike. Pike's character's been in the original series.
Yep.
It's been in Discovery.
Yep.
And now his own Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
He's great.
And, we can talk about this later, but, Pike's story isn't finished yet. So, Discovery just finished its third season. They got 2 more to go. Strange New Worlds. Is in its third season. It has 2 more to go. So his story's not done yet.
Right. So I don't like to talk about it, but I will. Michael Burnham.
Yeah.
Michael Burnham. The rebel visionary, forged by trauma, driven by empathy. That's how I listed it.
Yeah. And again, someone who didn't come in as captain and kind of moved her way up through. And
did she start off as, a prisoner?
Yeah, I think she was a prisoner in that first season. And you know what? I'm not a huge fan of Burnham, which again is pretty clear in my
but all of us
that I did.
Yeah.
And the series itself, I thought had some really nice highlights in it, but overall, I was not a huge fan of Discovery.
Yeah, Discovery, the whole spore drive thing really just, I tell you, first off, they tell me that they didn't believe by holding on to that creature, they didn't think it was hurting it.
Yeah.
Come on. You know, you're locking him in a room and, he's cooperating to do things. Well, he's trying to survive.
Yeah, exactly. And then technically Prodigy, it was Janeway. We didn't consider the animated series in our ranking.
Yeah, Dirael was the leader of the kids. And then they had the mentor of Hologram Janeway. Hologram Captain Janeway.
Yeah.
And then they got Admiral
Janeway came in.
So that was pretty good.
And then in Lower Decks, Captain Carol Freeman. Lower Decks is hard to because it's kind of for fun, right? So
it's all fun because we're not looking at leadership and tactics and legacy and crew bond.
You're pulling from different canon to put these episodes together. And I absolutely loved
Lower Decks.
I loved Lower Decks.
Yeah,
absolutely loved it. But it's not really in the discussion here.
I agree. Well, so let's talk about these captains, all right? So let's go down, and I'm going to say, let's start with Kirk, the original. We love him. We think he's wonderful. He's the guy. He's the boss. And you always thought he had that coolness.
Yeah.
Right from the start. And the Kelvin timeline backed that theory up.
Yeah.
He was a cool, tough kid, stealing the car, was riding the motorcycle, doing all that. But all of a sudden, we get Strange New Worlds, and we get a look at Commander Kirk.
Yeah.
In season 3, and it paints a whole new picture.
Yeah.
And it changes everything, the way I feel about Captain Kirk, my number one.
Yeah. He was not my number one.
My number one, my personal number one.
Yeah. So he was not my personal number one. But, so I think really what defined it for me was honestly watching some of the original series episodes. I mean, he was what everybody else was going to be judged against. I mentioned that earlier, right? So, again, he had that swagger that kind of came across as sometimes arrogant, but, that can be actually a good leader, too.
Sure.
So I really, we can talk about our rankings in a minute, and then we'll go on to Picard. I mean, Picard was...
that was our freshest look at the new Star Trek, the new era Star Trek. You knew everything was going to be better because now we're talking the 90s and we're talking the technology from the 60s. 30 years difference. It's going to look better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yes, they did play it in the future. Not like when we go back to Enterprise, which really looks cool, but that was before Star Trek: The Original Series.
Yeah,
timelines.
It was different too because they didn't know this was again a new series coming out.
Right.
They hired this, Shakespearean actor from England, to play
Pure class act.
Yeah, and I remember reading a story that he didn't even unpack his bags. He lived in an apartment somewhere. He didn't even unpack his bags. He didn't think the series would be picked up.
Yeah.
So, and he, really is became an excellent captain in all way, shape, and form.
Yeah, I mean, he had the high marks. I had nothing lower than a 7.
Yeah, I had him lower. Where I did have him a little bit lower was how we bonded with the crew.
That was
he kept that very, very separate.
It was very. Was it the first season or the second season when it was Captain Picard Day?
Oh,
and all the children on the ship. What was the third?
That was I think that was in the final one of the final seasons, 6 or 7. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going back. I've only watched that series once.
Oh wow.
I
watched it a lot.
I haven't watched it twice.
I started rewatching it the other a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because I not all the episodes, but the ones that I liked, I've rewatched again.
The original series I've watched. I can't tell you how many times. Deep Space Nine I watched twice. I finally finished Voyager.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
good episodes in the first 2 seasons.
Lots of ways to go. And speaking about DS9,
Yeah.
Sisko, yeah, boy.
He's my number one.
Let me say, too, our ratings, it's real simple. Leadership, morality, tactical, legacy, crew connection, icon factor. That's what we did. We did 1 to 10 in each of them, and then we added up the scores. So we're going to talk about them, and then you're going to learn where we finished.
Yeah, so Sisko, again, I just thought the character was great. And I like it just probably because Deep Space Nine is my favorite series. And it was... He came in as a commander of a space station, so everything that he was doing was different.
Yeah, and it was all new, too. Here they are taking over a Cardassian space station.
Yeah.
which was ruling over the Bajorans.
Yep.
And they bailed out, and so we took over, and that was Kardashians, like I always have to mention. It's not the Cardassians, that's a different network.
Exactly. And then we go into Janeway. Right?
Yeah, which I knew she was I loved her presence. I love Kate Mulgrew.
Yeah.
Fantastic actor. Everything she does, I enjoy. And I told you, I had a hard time starting watching Voyager from the beginning. And you say, season 3, episode 2, Mike, you'll love it. And I loved it. I watched it, and then I went back and finished it with.
Yeah, you got to watch because there were some bad episodes in those.
Oh, of course, yeah, and
terrible.
It's just like Red Shirt Radio.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a bad first season.
Right.
We're gonna have a bad first season. We got to start somewhere.
We'll start somewhere.
So, but Janeway, she really, when it came to doing this chat, I can't believe the numbers that she scored.
Yeah.
I still say she was a better captain than Picard when it came to fighting the Borg.
Sure.
And, another reason could be that because this was the series after. They wrote a lot about the Borg, and they wanted to expand on it, and maybe they made Janeway better.
Yeah.
So, but either way, she was great.
And then we have the original
the original
Archer. And I really liked what they did with the character in that whole series. He was kind of a fish out of water.
Yeah.
When he came, he's, like you said, he's the first captain. He's going out there.
He's writing the rules.
He's writing the rules.
No rules. I mean, and that's what I loved about the show. They didn't even have red alert.
Yeah.
They say
read alert.
Yeah, read alert.
Read alert. Yeah.
So I was a little upset where he landed in my total scores because I set him up higher, and but you got to remember too. How was he with the morality of the Federation ideals of the Prime Directive? There wasn't one.
There was no Prime Directive.
No, they had General Order 1, which was nowhere. Well, it was as close as a Prime Directive you could get, but they really didn't touch on that.
Yeah, I think there's one episode where he comes about the Prime Directive, and I think it's called Dear Doctor.
Dear Doctor. Yeah.
And he talks about, he says that he's like, until they come up with some directive, and he goes on to talk about that. But then again, we come to the various versions of Pike. Original series, Discovery, and now on Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. So my feeling with that is, I think the Stranger Worlds and Discovery, of course, you got Anson Mount to both of them, and I like where they went with it. Everything that I've seen so far, I expected based on Discovery. That's why I was very excited about Stranger Worlds coming out. His style, his numbers, he scored all right.
Yeah.
But he did not score as high to me because we still have 2 more seasons left.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, his story has not been told.
Not been told, and so we don't know. We don't know how it's going to finish. We know how it finishes.
We know how it finishes,
but we don't know how they're going to get to that finish.
Yeah, how we'll get there,
which is what I'm excited for. And I was ordered to add Michael Burnham to this list. My least favorite series and least favorite captain.
Yeah,
and that I was not surprised that she finished on the bottom of my list. And I mean, here you are, you have the common criminal, if you will, becomes a commander of a ship based on an accident, which we see that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see that a lot. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, again, she's the rebel. She's a visionary. And the whole series just went a little too far for me. And, how many years did it?
Five seasons?
No, yeah, but how many years was it?
900. I think 900.
900 years.
Yeah.
Give me 400. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
But they went 900 and everything was. But the show was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
All the props, all the effects.
It's a well done show, but I just like yourself. I just couldn't get into it.
And the admiral there at the time, which is beyond me, he was. One of my favorites since Bruce Bigelow, Male Gigolo,
Yeah.
Women pay me to give them pleasure. It's like, damn, I'm going to kill my guidance counselor. But yeah, so
you want to, we'll talk about our rankings here?
Let's go. So here we go. You want to?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Where do you want to take them? You want to?
I'll take, it's, as I've been mentioned many times here, my favorite captain is Sisko. But he was not ranked my highest. Picard actually came out number 1 for me.
Yeah.
And as Mike mentioned earlier, leadership, morality, tactics, legacy, crew bond, and icon factor as we ranked them on a 1 to 10. So yeah, Picard came up on top for me. And so who was your number 1?
So of course my number 1 is Kirk, the original, the master. But when I put all these factors in here and rate them accordingly, Captain Janeway.
Yeah.
Janeway is just impressive. I mean, crew bond. If I could give it a 12, I would. If I could only give it 10.
Yeah, she was high as
she brought the Maquis and Starfleet together. She had to survive. She kept them together all the tough times in the Delta Quadrant, and all those little hopes that die out. That look, this wormhole's going to work. Oh crap, it won't.
Yeah. Oh no.
But So how did you order out after we did this?
So we got the 1. So I did this. So as I mentioned, Picard was 1, and then actually tied. I had a 3-way tie for second with the fourth one only coming in 1 point below them. So I had Sisko, Janeway, and Archer all tied.
Yeah,
and then Pike was just 1 point below them. So a big chunk right in there.
Right. My numbers were close. From 56 to 52, and then we got some real bad ones.
Yeah.
But with Janeway number 1, I had Picard second, I had Kirk third, and I had a tie for 4th between Sisko and Pike.
Yeah. Actually, what surprised me is, last place was Burnham, we've talked about.
Yeah.
Last place was Burnham. Second to last for me was Kirk, which was kind of surprising the way that came out. I was a little surprised. I ranked him, the lowest one I actually gave him a 5 on crew bond. Because even though he had the good relationship with Spock and McCoy, I think they're not the only people in the crew, right? So the rest of the crew, I think, maybe got a little bit the short end of the stick there.
Archer was my 5th, and which I basically it's like second to last, so technically 6 because I have 2 ties for 4. I expected him a little higher, and it didn't work out.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, It was an interesting exercise and a lot of discussion, and I'm sure has been done over the years by Star Trek fans on who's the better captain. So I was very happy to kind of dissect that a little bit.
All right, so listen, I think that's enough. We can have this debate again. We can go on and on.
Keep going on.
I'm sure it'll come back, but we have to go see what's in the replicator now.
Yeah.
Today's drink is going to be the Janeway Jolt. As everyone knows, she likes black coffee. The Janeway Jolt is black coffee in bourbon. Of course, she would never have that. I think
not that we know.
Not that we know of, yeah. But she always searched out for that cup of coffee, and she really enjoys it.
And I love that she was not a big coffee drinker.
Not in real life. Yeah,
in her life.
Exactly.
She was more of a tea drinker, which, again, I appreciate they brought that back into the final episode.
The final episode, right.
That she was at that point drinking tea.
Right. So, yeah, she was always had the obsession, and you saw the smile on her face when she actually found like a good cup of tea, because she never really got a good cup of tea. I mean, Neelix tried everything to do to make her a good cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And it just couldn't happen.
Just couldn't do it.
So anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. So, all right, red shirt death of the week.
Yes,
we picked an episode where some red shirts die. Obviously, most of the red shirts are dying in the original series, so we chose to talk about the Apple, which was in season 2, I believe, episode 5. And there were a lot of red shirts.
Well, first off, the first one dead by the killer plant was Crewman Hendorff. Hendorff, also known as Security Guard 1. It's funny too, and I think we mentioned in the last episode that yes, red shirts were known as expendables, and they were always the first to get killed, but they were the least amount killed.
Yeah,
out of the 55 deaths,
that's so funny to me.
Only 22. Which it just shows you how much red stands out.
And this episode is funny because there's 4 red shirts killed in this. Hendorff, who mentioned, Kaplan killed by lightning, Mallory killed by an exploding rock, and Marple hit in the head with a bone.
I think it was a bone. It was a bonus. I have to say bones because they had bones everywhere.
And it just cracks me up. I think the writers were like, all right, how many can we kill off in this episode, and by which different variations of death can we come up with?
Yeah, and they did. And several. I mean, the first one that was killed off got the salt sucked out.
Yeah,
by the salt vampire. I forget what they call those. The salt vampires.
It was funny in watching this episode. It reminded me of an episode in Next Generation, and we do have an upcoming episode where we talk about rip-off episodes between series.
Yeah.
But this one reminded me of season 1, episode, I think 7 of Next Generation. It's called Justice, when they were on the planet, and both episodes had like a higher controlling power, and the inhabitants of the planet were running around half naked, blonde hair,
and everyone was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So I did find that pretty funny that the episode seemed to rip off one of the Next Generation ripped off one of the episodes from the original series.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them, and I'm sure that the list that we put together, I'm sure there's more.
Oh yeah,
as the research goes, because people want to see things redone.
Yeah,
and reboot. Why? I never got it, but why? Won't you make it the same and just new actors and maybe a different time, whatever. But don't reboot the whole thing and come up with your own version. So, speak about rebooting and ripping things off. We're getting into our Kobayashi recast. What if Quark gave the first contact speech? First contact, when the Vulcans spotted Cochrane warp signature, they went and investigated, landed in Montana, and they greeted. Well, the greeting was simple. The Vulcans said hello.
Yeah.
And Cochrane tried to mimic it and then shook the Vulcans' hands. But if there was a speech, would the Vulcans say, "We come in peace, your achievement has not gone unnoticed by breaking the light barrier, blah, blah, blah"? What if Quark showed up?
Yeah, he would be selling the rights to space.
Yeah.
You have to pay a toll every time.
The 37th rule of acquisition.
That's right.
Docking fees. He'd probably go after some kind of profit. What if Quark played Cochrane? I see some similarity there because Cochrane didn't do this because of humanity.
Yeah.
He did it for profit.
He's trying to make money.
Yeah, and fame. And what if Quark played Cochrane? He'd be like, "Hey, I'll sell you this."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. And I think it would have been funny either way, but I'm sure Quark would have been trying to make some money off the whole deal.
Yeah. turns the Federation ideals into a sales pitch.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Alpha Quadrant.
Yeah.
Now, how about a small fee for docking rights? You know? But I think that's
Incoming transmission.
Oh, that sound is.
it
means
is.
we have our reader's mail.
Yeah.
So you want to take the? I'll take the first one.
Yeah, you can take the first.
Yeah, Jim C. of Upton, his question was, should Pike now be included in the best captains debate? Well, we said that, you know.
Yeah.
We hinted on it. We judged him because technically, Pike has more seasons on Star Trek than Captain Kirk.
Right.
You know, 2 with the Discovery, 3 now in the can for Strange New Worlds. But his story's not done yet. So, yeah, we could talk about him, but we have to put that asterisk on there.
Yeah.
You know, that his story's not done.
Yeah, his story's not done yet, and I think you have to see how it ends first.
Right.
You really, but yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think he can.
Well,
you know,
see how we see,
included him, so
right,
for sure, we
included.
think he should be included.
Yeah, and I think we should see how it leads up to the ending.
Yeah.
We get the idea of how it's going to happen, and so forth.
All right. Then next question from James M. of Jackson, New Jersey.
Jersey?
Yeah, I know. With listeners near
Wow.
and far.
I like it.
Who walked the Prime Directive tightrope most often? You know, I think Kirk probably broke it the most often.
Well, yeah, it's brand new. His character was rebellious sort.
Yep.
Okay.
I think Picard walked the tightrope. You know, just doing just enough what's right. And I think Janeway struggled with it most because of where she was. You know,
Right, exactly. That was the toughest one because, all right, you're now in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah.
Why do the rules still apply?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
She made it so that Starfleet still applies no matter where you are.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, so let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Top captain ranking, you know, who's the best? I don't know.
Yeah. It really depends. You know, it depends.
Let's go with next first officer for next.
Yeah, there we go.
You know, I still say Kirk is mine.
Yeah, I still say Sisko is mine, 100%.
And Picard is Jim's, and so that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, I like. No, but it's again. We like you said, we could have spent an hour and a half talking about the captain's
absolutely.
debate. I think we have some nights. Just go.
Not here, not Mike's in front of us.
We go down the rabbit hole.
All right, so listen, again, we want to hear from you. Just email us at redshirtradio@hcam.tv, and we'll get your question on the air and maybe answer it for you. You might know the answer. You just want to hear us talk about it. So I want to thank you all. Check us out on Facebook. And again, episode 3 coming up.
Episode 3 coming up. So
That's the Tech We Wish Was Real.
Tech we wish was real.